Welcome to the Boring Channel 8. My name is Anthony. Welcome to another video. Today's video that I picked for you guys is about free speech and freedom. Something that I've been concerned about lately. And lately I mean for years now, and it's getting worse and worse. And I found this video which popped up in my feed. The video itself, or the post itself, is 7 years old, but the content is from 2012. It's a Rowan Atkinson, mostly widely known as Mr. Bean, talking to the British Parliament in 2012. So please take a look.
My starting point when it comes to the consideration of any issue relating to free speech is my passionate belief that the second most precious thing in life is the right to express yourself freely. The most precious thing in life, I think, is food in your mouth, and the third most precious is a roof over your head. But a fixture for me in the number 2 slot is free expression, just below the need to sustain life itself. That is because I have enjoyed free expression in this country all my professional life, and fully expect to continue to do so. Personally, I suspect highly unlikely to be arrested for whatever laws exist to contain free expression because of the undoubtedly privileged position that is afforded to those of a high public profile.
I gotta stop the video right there. Yeah, he's obviously saying, hey, I have a high profile, I'm a high profile individual. I can be I can avoid any perceived crimes by the law because of my high profile, but.
So my concerns are less for myself and more for those more vulnerable because of their lower profile. Like the man arrested in Oxford for calling a police horse gay, or the teenager arrested for calling the Church of Scientology a cult, or the cafe owner arrested for displaying passages from the Bible on a TV screen. When I heard of some of these more ludicrous offences and charges, I remembered that I had been here before in a fictional context. I once did a show called Not the 9 O'Clock News some years ago, and we did a sketch where Griff Rhys-Jones played Constable Savage, a manifestly racist police officer to whom I, as his station commander, is giving a dressing down for arresting a black man on a whole string of ridiculous, trumped up and ludicrous charges. The charges for which Constable Savage arrested Mr. Winston Kadogo of 55 Mercer Road were these: walking on the cracks in the pavement, walking in a loud shirt in a built-up area during the hours of darkness, and one of my favourites, walking around all over the place. He was also arrested for urinating in a public convenience and looking at me in a funny way. Who would have thought that we would end up with a law that would allow life to imitate art so exactly? I read somewhere a defender of the status quo claiming that the fact that the gay horse case was dropped after the arrested man refused to pay the fine, and that the Scientology case was also dropped at some point during the court process, was proof that the law was working well, ignoring the fact that the only reason these cases were dropped was because of the publicity that they had attracted. The police sensed that ridicule was just around the corner and withdrew their action.
That's true. That's absolutely true. When there used to be a high profile like this, high profile case, a case that attracted a lot of attention and was just back then considered really, really dumb. It was dropped. I don't know how it's nowadays, but the harass is real, and we're gonna see a video of that eventually after this one. I have another video for you guys, which I saw today and was absolutely horrified, but on that later. Let's continue.
But what about the thousands of other cases that did not enjoy the oxygen of publicity? that weren't quite ludicrous enough to attract media attention. Even for those actions that were withdrawn, people were arrested, questioned, taken to court, and then released. You know, that isn't a law working properly. That is censoriousness of the most intimidating kind, guaranteed to have, as Lord Deer says, a chilling effect on free expression and free protest. Parliament's Joint Committee on Human Rights summarised, as you may know, this whole issue very well by saying, while arresting a protester for using threatening or abusive speech may, depending on the circumstances, be a proportionate response, we do not think that language or behaviour that is merely insulting should ever be criminalised in this way. The clear problem with the outlawing of insult is that too many things can be interpreted as such.
Absolutely true. I'm gonna let him continue, so don't worry, guys. But absolutely true. Absolutely true. I just gotta say that it's insane how we can just turn in anything into insults and then outlaw it, basically.
Criticism is easily construed as insult by certain parties. Ridicule easily construed as insult. Sarcasm, unfavourable comparison, merely stating an alternative point of view to the orthodoxy can be interpreted as insult. And because so many things can be interpreted as insult, it is hardly surprising that so many things have been, as the examples I talked about earlier show. Although the law under discussion has been on the statute book for over 25 years, it is indicative of a culture that has taken hold of the programmes of successive governments, that with the reasonable and well-intentioned ambition to contain obnoxious elements in society, has created a society of an extraordinarily authoritarian and controlling nature.
Guys, mind you, this is 2012. He's speaking to the parliament. 2012. This is insane. It's 13 years. And his words are more true now than before, really. It's mind-boggling, really, if you think about that. He was saying that 13 years ago. Why am I still living in 2024?
That is what you might call the new intolerance, a new but intense desire to gag uncomfortable voices of dissent. I am not intolerant, say many people, say many softly spoken, highly educated, liberal-minded people. I'm only intolerant of intolerance. And people tend to nod sagely and say, oh yes, wise words, wise words. And yet if you think about this supposedly inarguable statement for longer than 5 seconds, you realize that all it is advocating is the replacement of one kind of intolerance with another, which to me doesn't represent.
Yes, exactly. If I'm intolerant of intolerance, then I can be intolerant of anything. It doesn't make any progress. It's circular. Because I'm just intolerant myself. Just makes no sense if you think really hardly about it more than 5 seconds. Yes. And as he points out back then, and it still holds true now as well, it was coming from the progressive people, the ones that claiming that are the least intolerant people on the planet. They want to put all these holds on behavior, so everybody is so nice and so spoken and picks their words carefully. It reminds me a lot of the culture that you have at work, in corporate work or something like that, where you all also have to mind your words very carefully. It's very similar to that, you know, and it's scary. It's scary. You don't want to be at work 24/7, right? You don't want to mind your words even when you are at home, eventually, you know, like in 1984, where even your kids or the TV, obviously, we have much more sophisticated technologies now than Orwell could have envisioned. But he saw the TV and he was thinking, okay, the TV can watch you. And we have that, yeah. We are getting more progressively closer and closer to that reality, and it's really, really scary. Let's continue.
Any kind of progress at all. Underlying prejudices, injustices, or resentments are not addressed by arresting people. They are addressed by the issues being aired, argued, and dealt with, preferably outside the legal process. For me, the best way to increase society's resistance to insulting or offensive speech is to allow a lot more of it. Yes. As with childhood diseases, you can better resist those germs to which you have been exposed. We need to build our immunity to taking offense so that we can deal with the issues that perfectly justified criticism can raise. Our priority should be to deal with the message, not the messenger. As President Obama said in an address to the United Nations only a month or so ago, laudable efforts to restrict speech can become a tool to silence critics or oppress minorities. The strongest weapon against hateful speech is not repression, it is more speech.
That's Obama in 2012 for you guys, by the way. Where is this Obama now? Where is this guy? Where is this guy saying this kind of stuff? Where is he? When his own party is also not the only villain, but one of the villains. It's hypocrisy, truly. But he's right. This statement is so true, so true. I was standing behind this statement, behind President Obama when I was a young adult. President Obama was a political hero of mine, obviously, like for many, many of us millennials. Yes.
And that's the essence of my thesis, more speech.
More speech, more speech.
If we want a robust society, we need more robust dialogue, and that must include the right to insult or to offend. And even if, as Lord Deere says, the freedom to be inoffensive is no freedom at all. The repeal of this word in this clause will be only a small step, but it will, I hope, be a critical one in what should be a longer-term project to pause and slowly rewind a creeping culture of censoriousness. It is a small skirmish in the battle, in my opinion, to deal with what Sir Salman Rushdie refers to as the outrage industry. Self-appointed arbiters of the public good, encouraging media-stoked outrage to which the police feel under terrible pressure to react. A newspaper rings up Scotland Yard. Someone has said something slightly insulting on Twitter about someone who we think a national treasure. What are you going to do about it? And the police...
He's calling out for changes in 2012. Unfortunately, when you rewind forward where we are right now, and definitely we can see a little bit in the future as well, we are not facing good prospects, and we are not in a good place, especially what I'm hearing from UK is a lot of things that I'm hearing, but obviously these things that he's mentioning here with the horse, or someone being arrested for writing something on social media, this has been widely used more and more in Britain and reported more and more about. I know I have a lot of people from Great Britain watching my channel, and I would like to ask you as well, how does it feel in Great Britain, in England? How does it feel? Do you feel like you're living in a country that is oppressive towards your free speech, towards you as an individual? Let me know in the comments. Let's continue, guys.
Panic, and they scrabble around and then grasp the most inappropriate lifeline of all, Section 5 of the Public Order Act, that thing where you can arrest anybody for saying anything that might be construed by anyone else as insulting. They don't seem to need a real victim. They need only to make the judgment that somebody could have been offended if they had heard or read what has been said, the most ludicrous degree of latitude. The storms that surround Twitter and Facebook comment.
Think about it for a second, right? It's not even about how exposed to the internet really the comment was, how many people really got quote unquote affected, negatively affected, insulted by such statement that could be deemed illegal. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. What matter is that it could be perceived. Someone could. It's insanity. It's real insanity. It's real Orwellian insanity. It's 1984. It's I'm sorry that I'm laughing, but it's so insane when you're thinking about it. And that's 2012, right? Fast forward now, and you know what you see.
Have raised some fascinating issues about free speech, which we haven't really yet come to terms with. Firstly, that we all have to take responsibility for what we say, which is quite a good lesson to learn. But secondly, we've learned how appallingly prickly and intolerant society has become of even the mildest adverse comment. The law should not be aiding and abetting this new intolerance. Free speech can only suffer if the law prevents us from dealing with its consequences. I offer my wholehearted support to the Reform Section 5 campaign. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Rowan Atkinson. You were correct, man. You were utterly correct. You were right. And unfortunately, things didn't go as you would have wished at that moment in time. But thank God that people were speaking like this back then. But I wish they were speaking more loudly nowadays, and it would be more appropriate. You can hear in the room where he is in. You can hear that he is. There are voices of approval. I don't think I highly doubt that he would get such approval nowadays. But he was very right. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think about his speech, and is it more right now than ever, or do you think he was being too alarmistic about what he said? I also promised you another video, so let's go real quick on that. So guys, this is UK today. You know, Rowan Atkinson in 2012 was like, okay, we should start a new chapter where we try to have more free speech, more freedom for our citizens. And this is UK today. This is something I watched today when I had the pleasure of doing my morning errands. Yeah, take a look.
Okay, what was it?
Sorry, I don't like the camera. You can have my body cam. I can exhibit that to you. I just don't like the camera, really.
Okay, well, I'm doing this because this is my own house, and I am telling
Right,
you why
that's
I'm
fine.
So I just need to know why would she's basically viewed a post which is not an arrestable offence. Yeah. Okay.
It happened in May, and you're completely fine. The only thing is,
Yeah.
we need to seize the phone at this current moment.
Yeah.
I'm say to you. The phone needs to get seized from us, otherwise we will escalate this further. So,
But with a voluntary interview.
So have you seized anyone else? Is she the only child you're picking on?
Voluntary interview, you'd be able to come in
Have
with
you
your
spoken
daughter
to anyone
and the
else?
solicitor,
No,
but
we'll
there's no
come to the
arrest.
station now.
do you mind letting her finish her sentence before?
Yeah.
It does have to get further escalation, unfortunately.
That's fine. We'll come to the
No,
station now.
you're not under-
the phone isn't seized right now, and we're not able to basically get the phone. We'd have to escalate this further,
Yeah.
which means your daughter will get arrested.
For what?
And then
Viewing a
only
social media post? Is
I
that?
need to go with
Yeah.
that in order to.
No,
get the phone.
absolutely
What
not.
can we do to
That's
No.
what's got to happen, Lisa. I'm
prevent
sorry.
destruction of evidence?
I'm sorry.
Lisa.
Unfortunately.
That's fine. I would like you to leave now. I'd like you to leave.
This is why you're
Okay, I have nothing more to say to you.
here for.
A social media post. I've got nothing more to say. I'd like you to leave. You've harassed this child enough. I'd like you to leave.
Lisa, that's no worries.
So that's Great Britain policing for you in 2025. Yeah, a child posting something on Facebook and her mother basically being put in a situation, give up the phone without any warrant, obviously. If they had a warrant, that would be, okay, we have a warrant, give up the phone. No, this is give up the phone or the child will be arrested. How is that possible? Like, honestly, how is that possible in a modern, forward-thinking, free society? It is not. It is not possible to have this kind of police intervention, this kind of policing, these kinds of laws that allow something like that to happen. We are more and more increasingly under attack. Our freedom of expression, our freedom of speech is under attack, obviously. And this is one of the craziest examples that I can think of that I've seen. Okay, guys, let me know what you think. What is your personal experience? Do you have a personal experience with something like this, where your free speech, or where do you feel like your free speech is being impaired, where you are not allowed to express yourself? Obviously, there are situations based on common understanding where we shouldn't be offensive, really, but we are not allowed to. That's a very important distinction. Okay, guys, let me know. Subscribe, comment, like. See you in the next one.